There comes a moment in every life when you feel like you don't matter, like you're too far behind, like you missed your chance, your time, your turn. You look around and the world seems loud, fast, successful, and you'd feel like a whisper in a hurricane. Too small to be seen, too quiet to be heard. But let me tell you something right now. That feeling is a lie. You weren't born to shrink. You weren't built to live hidden in the shadows of other people's dreams. You were made to think big, to live big, to build something that echoes long after you're gone. But that kind of life doesn't begin with confidence. It begins with decision. A decision to rise, even when your knees shake. A decision to believe, even when your mind is filled with doubt. A decision to dream without asking for permission. You may not feel powerful. You may not feel ready, but you don't have to feel it to choose it. The only thing standing between you and everything you want is the size of your thinking. So today, right now, we destroy small thoughts. And we begin building the version of you the world's been waiting for. You may believe at times that you are too insignificant to make an impact. You may look at the world and feel overwhelmed as though your existence is a drop in an ocean so vast your presence cannot matter. But understand this clearly. That feeling of smallness is a deception, a product of conditioned thought, not a reflection of truth. There is no force in the universe more destructive to personal achievement than the belief that one is not enough. Man is not born with inferiority. It is learned. It is absorbed piece by piece through experiences that undermine confidence, environments that reward silence over boldness, and people who impose their own limited views on others. You were not created to feel small. That is an emotional distortion taught to you by failure, rejection, ridicule, or comparison. But the mind, if properly directed, can unlearn these lies and replace them with the truth. You were born with the same mental tools as the greatest achievers who ever lived. Think of a mighty tree that began as a seed, so small it could rest on the tip of your finger. Its current size has no bearing on the power locked inside it. That seed held within it the blueprint for greatness, just as your mind holds the potential for grand achievement. When you feel small, it is only because your attention is focused on your current condition rather than your future capability. The man who thinks only of where he stands today and not where he is capable of going will remain enslaved to the illusion of limitation. Those who succeed in extraordinary ways are not necessarily more intelligent, more talented, or more privileged. More often than not, they are simply those who refuse to accept the suggestion that they are small. They train their minds to see potential where others see defeat. They respond to challenge not with resignation, but with resolve. They take ownership over their emotions, their thoughts, and ultimately their outcomes. They understand that size is a perception, and perception can be reprogrammed. There will be moments when you walk into rooms where others seem bigger, louder, richer, more powerful. You may feel tempted to shrink yourself, to hold back, to remain invisible. But that is the exact moment when you must force your mind to speak. You must speak when silence is more comfortable. You must stand tall when everything within you wants to fold. You must act not according to your feelings, but according to your vision. Because feelings are fleeting, but vision, when you feel small, it is not because you are small, it is because your mind has been conditioned to compare. You are measuring yourself, not by the standard of your own potential, but by the illusion of someone else's success. The habit of comparison is one of the most dangerous practices a man can engage in. It either builds false pride or feeds deep insecurity. Either way, it disconnects you from your own greatness. The only worthy competitor in your life is the self you were yesterday. Train your mind to observe when these feelings arise. Observe them like a scientist studies data. Don't fight them. Don't deny them. Acknowledge them and then challenge them. Ask, who told me I was small? Who made me believe I couldn't do more? Who set the ceiling above my head? And when you trace those thoughts to their origin, you will find that most of them were never yours to begin with. You inherited them. Now it is your job to disown them. Man was created with the ability to think, to choose, to direct his own destiny. That power does not vanish in the face of fear or discouragement. It only becomes dormant. And just as a muscle grows stronger when it is used, your mental faculties expand when you push them beyond their current comfort. You may feel small, but you must not speak small. You may feel powerless, but you must not act powerless. You must not act powerless. Even Shalashan are the tools that sculpt your inner world into outer results. Everything that has ever been built, cathedrals, companies, empires, was first born in the mind of a single individual. Not in a committee, not in a group, not in a crowd, but in one solitary human mind. That power resides in you. Whether you believe in it or not, whether you tap into it or not, does not change its presence. What changes is your access to it. And that access is granted the moment you stop believing the lie that you are too small. Circumstances may humble you. They may bring you to your knees. They may strip you of your money, your comfort, your support. But they cannot strip you of your mind. And as long as you possess the ability to think, you possess the ability to grow. Begin with one thought, one brave, bold thought, and act on it. Speak it aloud. Write it down. Visualize it as though it already were. Each time you do this, you chip away at the prison walls of small thinking. And soon what once felt too big to reach will become your new normal. The only thing that must change is the origin of your thinking. Shift it from fear to faith, from doubt to discipline, from insecurity to intention. Force yourself, if you must. Pull your mind upward by command. Seek life into yourself, even when the echoes of doubt still linger. Over time they will quiet, and in their place you will hear the louder voice of purpose, because you were never meant to feel small. You were meant to feel powerful. And power is reclaimed the moment you stop accepting feelings as facts. There comes a time in every man's life when he stands before the mirror, not to see his reflection, but to examine the story he tells himself, the story of who he is, what he can become, and what limits him. And for most, that story is shaped not by vision, but by circumstance. He looks at the size of his home, the balance in his bank account, the weight of his burdens, and begins to form conclusions. But this is the trap. Circumstances are only snapshots, not the whole film. They are temporary conditions, not eternal truths. The greatest tragedy is not poverty or failure or misfortune. It is when a man allows what he sees around him to determine what he sees within him. That is where defeat begins. But the man who refuses to be defined by his environment is the one who rises above it. He chooses to act from vision, not reaction. He understands that the mind can project forward beyond what the eyes can see. And that projection becomes the blueprint for change. Vision is the spiritual architect of destiny. It is the silent force that rearranges circumstances over time. It pulls the future into the present by organizing thought, action, and emotion into harmony. The man without vision is like a ship without a compass, easily thrown by storms, always drifting. But the man with vision becomes immune to the winds. He may stumble, but he never strays. He may be delayed, but never denied. His direction is fixed, because it was decided in advance. You must learn to see with more than your eyes. Your eyes can only observe what is. Vision sees what can be. Your eyes may show you a bank account in the red, but vision sees the business you will build. Your eyes may reveal rejection, but vision sees the influence you will one day command. Your current environment may be cluttered with failure, but vision is the force that dares to paint over it with power. And the man who paints that future with boldness, again and again, is the one whose world eventually conforms to the image he holds in his mind. Circumstances are deceptive. They scream finality, but they are fluid. They change as quickly as the seasons, and they respond to dominant thoughts and disciplined decisions. You may be surrounded by mediocrity, but you are not condemned to it. You may be born in limitation, but you are not bound by it. What you must do is refuse to let your surroundings convince you that they are permanent. You must build a mental picture so strong, so vivid, so emotionally compelling, that it becomes more real to you than the facts in front of you. When you walk through the valley of discouragement, it is your vision that will keep your legs moving. When doors are slammed in your face, it is vision that reminds you to knock again, or to build your own. When money is scarce, support is absent, and nothing seems to be going your way, vision whispers, keep going. This is not the end. This is the middle. And only the man who continues walking through the middle ever gets to reach the summit. The world has trained you to react to see something and respond to it, to measure life by results, to believe only in what can be proven. But no great accomplishment was ever born in the realm of the visible. Every advancement of man began as a vision in the dark. Men of strength are not those who wait for proof, they create it. They do not allow the weight of present conditions to rob them of the fire to dream. On the contrary, they use the burden of their situation as fuel to climb higher. You must discipline yourself to see beyond your paycheck, beyond your title, beyond your critics, beyond your past. Your environment may be small, but your vision must be massive. You may be surrounded by doubt, but your belief must be stubborn. Hold the picture of what you are building so clearly in your mind that you begin to move, speak, and carry yourself in alignment with it. Even before any external evidence shows up, the world does not believe in the man who waits. The world rewards the man who begins. When you begin to act on vision, circumstances lose their control over you. You are no longer reactive. You are directive. You become the cause, not the effect. The world adjusts itself to the man who knows exactly what he wants and moves forward in that direction regardless of resistance. This is not magic. This is law. This is the natural response of a universe that honors intention backed by persistence. You are not meant to be ruled by conditions. You are not created to adapt to average. You are not born to accept the landscape of your birth as the boundaries of your life. The minute you commit to a vision greater than your surroundings, the minute you refuse to give power to the temporary, the forces of your mind align with a higher law. Ideas begin to arrive, strength begins to appear, people begin to show up, opportunities begin to open. But none of that happens unless you first force your attention away from what is and boldly toward what can be. That is the power of vision. It overrides circumstance. It overrides the facts. And it overrides every reason you've ever been given for staying small. A man becomes what he allows to dominate his mind. His thoughts, repeated often enough and with sufficient emotional intensity, are the foundation of his reality. He cannot rise higher than his thoughts, nor can he fall lower than them. Every victory he achieves or defeat he suffers begins first in the quiet laboratory of his imagination. For the mind is not merely a mirror reflecting the world, it is a mold that shapes it. You are not your circumstance, you are not your education, your family history, your failures, or your fears. You are the sum total of the thoughts you consistently think and the beliefs you consistently hold. If those thoughts are limited, so too will be your action. If they are bold, then boldness will manifest in your habits, your posture, your speech, and ultimately, your results. The mind does not discriminate between real and imagined. It takes orders without protest from what you allow to enter and remain. A man who thinks in terms of poverty will behave in ways that create it. He will reject opportunity, doubt himself at every turn, procrastinate on decisions, and interpret events in the most discouraging light. On the other hand, a man who trains his mind to dwell on abundance, on strength, on possibility, will walk, speak, and move in alignment with wealth, and life will respond accordingly. The outer world bends itself to the inner world of the thinker who refuses to entertain limitation. Your present reality is not the result of luck or chance. It is the outcome of years of unconscious thinking. And the great secret is that once you awaken to this truth, you can take control. You can begin today to replace thoughts of fear with thoughts of you can starve your doubts by refusing them the fuel of your attention. You can cultivate images of success, of leadership, of mastery, until they become more familiar to your nervous system than failure ever was. Thought is the architect of fate. The man who thinks consistently of health is drawn toward habits that support it. He eats better, moves more, and rests with discipline. The man who thinks of success begins to speak with authority, set goals, and hold himself to a higher standard. These are not accidents. These are the natural consequences of thought given time to ripen into action. What you dwell upon, you amplify. What you expect, you attract. The mind is a magnet. Whether it pulls you toward greatness or mediocrity depends on the direction of its current. Most people think reactively. They respond to what happens to them. They allow the external world to dictate their mood, their confidence, and their behavior. But the few who master their minds become creators. They decide what to think, regardless of the weather outside. They affirm what is possible even when surrounded by defeat. They live from the inside out. And that is why they lead while others follow. That is why their results exceed what seems reasonable. You may say, but I cannot control every thought that comes into my mind. That is true. You cannot stop a thought from knocking, but you can refuse to invite it in. You can choose which thoughts to nourish. You can speak to yourself with intention, program your subconscious with repetition, and break the spell of negative thinking with one decisive act of discipline. Become aware of your thought patterns. Catch yourself in the act of self-doubt, and immediately replace it with a declaration of power. Thought, like muscle, strengthens with you. The man who repeatedly tells himself he is not ready, not worthy, not talented, will soon behave in ways that validate that belief. He will shrink from opportunity and label it humility. He will hide from risk and call it wisdom. He will excuse his inaction with rational language, but deep down he knows his thoughts are ruling him like a tyrant. But the man who dares to think differently, who dares to speak power into his own soul, will rise even when the odds are stacked against him. Because the world cannot stop a man who has already decided who he is and where he is going. You do not need more time. You do not need more approval. You need a new pattern of thought. You need to speak of yourself as though you already possess the strength, the intelligence, and the discipline to rise. You must learn to walk through your day with a mental image of the man you are becoming. See him in your mind's eye and act as though he is already real. Eventually, you will step into that version of yourself, not by chance, but by choice. This is not fantasy. It is strategy. And those who use it wisely become unstoppable. Every empire began in the mind of one man who thought differently from the mass. Every invention, every revolution, every masterpiece was once a quiet thought, cherished and believed in long before the world gave it permission. So do not wait for the world to recognize your potential. Recognize it yourself. Think as though your destiny depends on it, because it does. Seek as though your words are creative commands, because they are. Act as though success is inevitable, because it will be if your thoughts are consistent with your desires. You are the maker of your mind. and your mind is the maker of your life. Every man is born with the seed of greatness, but between where he stands and where his greatness lives, there is a threshold, a mental gate, and stationed at that gate is fear. Fear is not just an emotion, it is a force. It is the invisible hand that slams the brakes on ambition. It whispers lies with a voice so convincing that the average man mistakes it for truth. It says, you'll fail. It says they'll laugh. It says you're not ready. And the man who listens becomes its prisoner, locked behind a wall of imagined threats. Yet what few realize is this: fear only guards the door to places worth going. It does not stand watch over mediocrity. No man trembles at the thought of living a small life. No man breaks into a sweat doing what is familiar and safe. Fear only appears when you begin to grow. It shows up precisely when you're about to challenge the limitations you've accepted as truth. It is the gatekeeper, and it has one job: to test whether you are serious about expansion. Most men retreat at the first sign of fear. They take it as a sign to stop. But fear, when properly understood, is a sign to proceed. It means you are on the edge of change. It means your current identity is no longer large enough to hold the future you. It means you are being called to shed what is small in you so that something greater can take its place. The presence of fear is proof that you are on the right path. It is not a barrier, it is a signal. The man who masters his destiny does not escape fear. He confronts it. He moves through it with full awareness of its discomfort. He trains himself to interpret it not as danger but as a challenge to rise. He rewires his response. Where once he would shrink, now he expands. Where once he would hesitate, now he advances. He understands that courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision to act in spite of it. And every time he does, he earns strength. Strength is not gifted. It is earned by doing hard things with trembling hands. Fear disguises itself in many forms: procrastination, indecision, overthinking. These are all masks worn by fear. And because they sound reasonable, the average man accepts them as logic. He tells himself he needs more time, more information, more clarity. But underneath those excuses lies a simple truth. He is afraid. And that fear left unchallenged becomes habit. Habit becomes identity. And soon the man no longer remembers what it felt like to stretch beyond his comfort. Fear has robbed more dreams than failure ever has. Failure is merely a result. It can teach. It can be reversed. But fear paralyzes. It keeps a man from ever starting. It chains him to the known, even when the known is killing his spirit. The tragedy is not in losing a battle. It is in never stepping onto the field. The man who allows fear to decide for him has surrendered his life to a ghost. For fear is not real in substance. It is only real in power if you submit to it. You must decide once and for all that fear does not have the final say. It may be loud, but it is not law. It may be persuasive, but it is not prophecy. The mind that sees fear and keeps walking is the mind that grows into great. With each step through fear, a new version of you is born. Stronger, wiser, more dangerous to doubt. This is how expansion happens, not in the absence of resistance, but through it. Your dreams live on the other side of fear, not beside it, not beneath it, on the other side. And the bridge to that other side is built with bold decisions. Say what you are afraid to say. Start what you are afraid to start. Walk into the room you feel unqualified to be in. Make the call. Ask the question. Take the leap. The fear will still be there, but so will your power. And with each act of courage, that power increases. Do not wait for fear to vanish. It won't. Do not wait until you feel ready. You won't. Look around you. Look at the space where you live. Look at the people you spend your time with. Look at the patterns of your days. Every detail, no matter how minor, is a mirror. Your environment is not accidental. It is a direct reflection of the thoughts you've repeated, the standards you've accepted, and the decisions you've made over time. It is not neutral. It speaks loudly of your inner world. A cluttered room often reflects a cluttered mind. A disorganized schedule points to a lack of direction. Stagnant relationships indicate a fear of discomfort, a refusal to prune what no longer serves you. Every environment, whether rich or poor, whether inspiring or depressing, is a physical echo of mental habits that have been rehearsed and repeated until they became reality. You do not attract what you want. You attract what you pull into your life the people, the places, and the problems that match your dominant frequency of thought. The man who thinks in terms of discipline, growth, and clarity will build an environment that mirrors that mindset. He will surround himself with order, with inspiration, with books, tools, and systems that feed his direction. He will not tolerate chaos because his mind does not tolerate it. He will not entertain gossip because his purpose has no appetite for it. His outer world becomes a reflection of his inner command. He does not wait for circumstances to clean themselves up. He acts first on the battlefield of the mind, and then sculpts his world accordingly. If you are surrounded by noise, confusion, and stagnation, you must ask yourself, where is that same pattern living in your thoughts? Your environment is not your enemy. It is your instructor. It reveals to you where your thinking has become lazy, reactive. Do not blame the world for what your thoughts have permitted. You are not a victim of surroundings. You are the architect of them. And if you don't like what you see, you must begin with the blueprint, not the building. Mental habits govern what you tolerate. A man who has cultivated thoughts of excellence will not stay long in a job that devalues him. He will not sit silently in rooms where dreams are mocked. He will not make a home in a place that drains him. Why? Because his inner belief system rejects those conditions. He does not need to force change. It begins naturally the moment his thoughts demand more. Standards once raised in the mind will automatically push against any environment that does not align with them. Do not underestimate the power of your surroundings. They are not passive. They feed you or they drain you. They support your vision or they sabotage it. Every object in your space, every voice in your circle, every routine in your day is either strengthening your identity or weakening it. And if you continue to live in contradiction, thinking one thing but living another, you will eventually be pulled back to the level of your environment. The outside always wins when the inside is undecided. But there is good news. You can change. You can upgrade. You can rewire your mental habits, and by doing so, redesign the world around you. The first step is awareness. Become a detective of your own life. Walk through your home, your office, your schedule, and your relationships as if you were evaluating a stranger. What do you see? What do you tolerate? What do you avoid? And most importantly, what are you allowing to shape you? It takes courage to admit that your life is a reflection of your mind. It is easier to point the finger outward, to blame the economy, your upbringing, your boss, but no lasting change has ever come from a man who gave away responsibility for his condition. The moment you take ownership, not of the world, but of your thoughts, you take control of the world you live in. The greatest environments are not the result of luck. They are the consequence of clarity. The man who knows what he wants will strip away everything that does not lead to it. He will simplify. He will align. He will distance himself from distraction and draw near to inspiration. He does not need motivation. His environment is built to remind him of his mission. His home speaks to his future. His desk reflects his priorities. His time belongs to his growth. If you want to elevate your life, begin by elevating your thinking. Begin to think in terms of order, focus, excellence, wealth, and vitality. Refuse the mental habits of confusion, complaint, and hesitation. Then act immediately on what those new thoughts require. Throw away what is useless, silence what is toxic, rearrange what is lazy, upgrade what is average. Your new thoughts must be followed by new environments, or the mind will slowly drift back to what feels familiar. A powerful life is not built from the outside in. It is built from the inside out. You do not wait for your environment to improve so you can think better. You think better so your environment is forced to improve. That is the law. You have lived in your current conditions long enough. Now it is time to think higher. And as you do, your world will rise to meet the new mind you bring into it. You were not put on this earth to wait for approval. You were not born to beg for validation or ask the world if it's acceptable to think beyond your present condition. The ability to dream is your birthright. The right to dream big without compromise, without hesitation, belongs to you. But most men spend their lives shrinking their dreams to fit the opinions of others. They let permission become their prison. They ask small minds if it's okay to build something extraordinary. And because small minds fear expansion, they say no. And the dream dies before it ever lived. The truth is this: the world will rarely applaud you at the beginning. No crowd gathers for the man who is still dreaming in silence. No one throws a parade for the vision that has not yet taken form. And if you wait for the world to understand your ambition before you begin, you will never begin. Because big dreams do not make sense to those who have never dared to think beyond the next paycheck, the next weekend, the next excuse. They live in cages of conformity and call it security. But the man who dares to dream big must break those mental chains, not only in the world but first in himself. You do not need your family to believe in your dream. You do not need your friends to support it. You do not need society to celebrate it. What you need is one thing: conviction. A fire within that refuses to dim, even when surrounded by doubt. The man who possesses that fire walks alone in the beginning, but not in weakness. He walks with strength, because his direction is not determined by noise. He knows what he sees. He believes in the image burned into his imagination, and that belief becomes his permission. There are two types of men in this world: those who wait and those who build. Those who wait need everything to be perfect. Every detail figured out, every voice in agreement, every obstacle removed. But life does not reward the man who waits. Life rewards the man who acts. Big dreams are built in the dark, often misunderstood, sometimes mocked, frequently doubted. But still they rise because the man behind them refuses to ask anyone but himself whether they are possible. The moment you decide to dream big, you will be tested. You will be tested by opinions, tested by fear, tested by the pressure to stay in your lane, to stay comfortable, to stay acceptable. And most men fold under that pressure because they were trained to believe that greatness must be granted by others. But that is a lie. Greatness is not given. It is declared. It is claimed in solitude and proven in action. And the man who claims it early, boldly, without apology, is the one who becomes it. You must stop looking outward for the authority to think bigger. No title, no diploma, no gatekeeper can give you what you already possess. You don't need to earn the right to dream. You only need to exercise it, save it, live it. Move as though your dream is valid, not because others say it is, but because you have chosen it. That choice is your power. That decision is your liberation. Think of the men who changed the world. They did not wait. They were not more qualified, more favored, or more intelligent than the average man. But they made one radical choice. They dreamed without permission. And when their dreams were laughed at, they kept building. When they were doubted, they kept planning. When they were criticized, they kept speaking. The dream became real because they never asked if they were allowed to want it in the first place. They didn't need a vote. They needed a reason. And they found it in purpose. If you hesitate to dream big because you fear judgment, understand this. Judgment is the price of growth. It is the toll at the gates of progress. Let it come. Let them doubt. Let them scoff. The dream was not given to them. It was given to you. And if it lives in your mind with fire, it is your duty to bring it into the world. Not for applause, not for recognition, but because to deny it is to betray yourself. A big dream will demand a big version of you. It will not tolerate excuses, small thinking, or borrowed beliefs. It will force you to rise, to speak bolder, act stronger, live sharper. It will challenge everything in you that seeks comfort and mediocrity. But in exchange, it will give you something that comfort never will. Meaning, power, and legacy. Begin now. Declare your dream, not to the world, but to yourself. Say it aloud, write it down, see it in vivid detail. You do not need permission. You do not need consensus. You do not need to be accepted by those who have settled. You need one thing, to believe that your mind is enough, your voice is enough, your will is enough. Because the world was not changed by those who asked for permission. It was changed by those who decided they didn't need it. You may feel small. You may feel uncertain. You may feel like the odds are against you. But feelings are not facts. And the truth is this. You are more powerful than you've been taught to believe. Within you lies the same fire that moved mountains, built empires, and changed the course of history. But that fire will not burn without your permission. Thinking big is not a talent. It is a decision, a choice you must make every single day. To believe in the impossible, to challenge the noise of fear, to walk forward, even when no one else sees what you see. Greatness doesn't begin in the spotlight. It begins in silence, in solitude, in the still moment when you choose not to shrink. So when the world tells you to stay small, grow larger. When fear says stop, move forward. When doubt whispers, who do you think you are? Answer boldly, I am the one who decides. Because in the end, your life will not be shaped by your conditions. It will be shaped by your courage. And no matter where you begin, if you think big long enough, act big often enough, and believe big deep enough, there is nothing, absolutely nothing, that can stop you from becoming the person you were born to be. Thank you for giving your time, your energy, and your mind to this message. You've just armed yourself with the truth. Now it's time to act on it. Walk forward with conviction. Hold your head high. Build the life you see in your heart. The world is waiting on your greatness. Good luck on your journey. Now go. Think bigger. Live bolder. And never ask for permission again. Your future is listening.